Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a highlight from round 3 of the 2023 Tata Steel Masters Tournament. We're going to look at a game between Fabiano Caruana from the USA, former World Championship runner-up, versus Jordan van Foreest from the Netherlands, the surprising winner of Tata Steel 2021. In a Armageddon game against Anish Giri. If you want to relive that, I will post the video that I made on that Armageddon game up here. The opening had been a Petrov, a Russian defense, and this is the position after the 14th move, bishop f4 to e5 from Caruana, who's playing with the white pieces. This is an important moment, as pointed out by Grandmaster Peter Svidler in the Chess24 broadcast. Black should take here on e5 according to Svidler, and after d takes e5, play the knight back to c5. Svidler said this is a dream open Spanish position. Van Foreest did not go for it. He chose a more passive setup. He played after bishop e5, he played knight back to d6. A more passive setup, not in line with his favorite style of play. Van Foreest is a very dynamic player, always looking for the initiative and complications. So according to Svidler and his co-commentator Grandmaster David Howell, this was a crucial moment. And now Black got a little bit of a passive position, and that's not what Van Foreest likes. We're going to jump from move 14 to move 25, where Caruana has just played king g1. White is a bit better, especially that bishop on e5 strikes the eye. That's a very nice piece. Here a move like bishop d5 should be played, and that bishop can go to e4 and then will also become a strong piece. Maybe Black will get some counterplay against White's king, with that bishop also looking at the g2 square in the future. But here Van Foreest made a big mistake. He played h5, h4, another way to get some counterplay. But there is a giant leak. If you want to put video on pause, how did White refute that h4 move? Well, Caruana saw it. You can just take on g4. Take that pawn, because you cannot recapture, you cannot take that piece, because there is a mate in 2, queen g6 check. You can only interpose the queen, and this is checkmate. So with 26 knight takes g4, White just wins a full pawn. Van Foreest played bishop d5 now, knight e3, bishop e4, and that's attacking the queen, so queen e2 was played. Queen a2, stopping the bishop coming to d3, was pointed out by Grandmaster Howell in the Chess24 broadcast. Bishop d3 is now not possible, because you can just take it off. The c-pawn is pinned. But queen e2 was Caruana's choice, and is that not also a blunder, you may ask, because now there is bishop d3, which was played by Van Foreest. And that skewers queen and rook. But of course Caruana had seen this. He's just sacrificing an exchange here. Rook takes, c takes, and queen takes. The point of White's exchange sacrifice is that Black hates life a lot more without his beautiful bishop, said Peter Svidler on the Chess24 broadcast. Without the bishop, the chance for Black to get counterplay against the White king is less feasible. Also, White's bishop on e5 is still a monster, as Grandmaster Leko would call it. He likes to call very strong pieces monsters. So a nice exchange sacrifice from Caruana. Rook e6. White has a knight and 2 pawns for the exchange, and a better position. Rook b1. Rooks like to be on open files. We all know that. Rook g6. Also on an open file, looking at White's king. Rook b8, queen f7 and c4. The pawn on f5 is also very weak in Black's camp, and it's very difficult for Black to get counterplay. In fact, instead of c4, Peter Svidler pointed out that he can take on f5 with the queen as well. The point is that after queen takes f5, knight takes f5, rook takes f5, the bishop on d8 is hanging. With check, rook f8, rook takes, king takes, and great winning chances for White with all his extra pawns. Also important to point out that after queen takes f5, you cannot play rook takes g2 check. You have to spot this. If you take on f5, it just doesn't work. It looks like it does, because after king takes there is queen a2 check with a discovered attack on white's queen, but white has queen c2, saving the queen and shielding the check, and white is winning. This variation was pointed out by David Howell, a nice variation. Back to the game. c4 was played by Caruana, c5 by Van Foreest, Caruana took, bishop e7, rook b7, pinning the bishop, and queen e6, unpinning the bishop, so black is now threatening to take on c5. Rook c7 to protect that pawn, rook c8, the rooks got swapped, and white gave a check, centralizing the queen. King f8 and bishop d6. Don't think you can take on f5 here. Well, you can, but it's not a good move, because then there is queen takes c5 check, and after king f1 black swaps the queens and plays rook a6, and black is back in the game. Also important to know that after knight takes f5 you cannot take on f5 with the queen, because we have, yes indeed, bishop g7 check winning black's queen. Nice variations. But after king f8 Caruana decided not to take on f5, he played bishop d6 as mentioned. Van Foreest saw nothing better than getting the queens off the board, queen e6, and it's never too late to throw away the game. Don't think you can take on f5, because then there is queen e1 checkmate, as international master Tanya Sachev showed in the chess.com broadcast. Of course that was not going to happen. Caruana swapped the queens, rook takes, and now he took on f5. White now has a million extra pawns, as we say in chess, while in fact it's only 4 extra pawns. But that's still a lot. Bishop takes d6, Van Foreest saw nothing better, and after c takes, white now has 2 beautiful connected pass pawns. Don't think you can play rook f6 to hit the knight, and if the knight plays you can take that pawn on d6, because there is d7 and there's nothing you can do against promotion. Also don't think you can play king e8 to get the king closer to that pass pawn, because then suddenly there is this knight fork. It's all terrible for black. Van Foreest played rook e1 instead. That's check, king f2, and if you go to d1, that's the normal move behind the pass pawn, there is king e2, and the rook cannot stay on the e-file. There are no safe squares there. Van Foreest played rook c1, king e3, the king is going to support the pawns. If you now take on c4, then we have d7 again, and there's nothing you can do against d8. The knight doing a great job in controlling the e7 square. So king e8 was played here, king d4, rook c2, and the last move of the game, c4, c5 from Fabiano Caruana. And here, Jordan Van Foreest had enough, he resigned. Those pawns just keep rolling, supported by the knight and the king. Great win for Caruana. After 2 draws, he is now on a plus score. Van Foreest suffered his first defeat in this event. I hope you liked this video and that you'll keep following the Tata Steel 2023 tournament with me. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.